everyone. To kickstart the second part of the event, we will now welcome Isham from Cloudynet Technologies, where he will actually present a topic of building a Teams connector to get social media sentiments on a brand. Welcome, Isham.
Thank you. All right, so good afternoon, folks. I hope you have had a nice lunch. And possibly this could be a presentation because I'm going to show some code in this. So first of all, may I know how many developers are here? Like, the number, maybe someone answer. Okay, cool, awesome. Um, Let me just go through my session first. And by the way, I'm Isham Mohammad. I'm working as a software developer for a company called kloudynet Technologies. We are a Microsoft Silver partner, doing a lot of stuff in Microsoft messaging areas. The title itself says, getting the sentiments from social media live streams to your teams by a connector. Why you need to do is because these days social media is kind of booming and controversies are happening in social media. A lot of people, especially when it comes to CRM solutions, when somebody don't, kind of they have kind of not good feeling about some product or whatever, what they do is just open the Twitter, write something, okay, I don't like this product, or I use this product, it didn't work like this, and just hashtag the product name. This is how it goes. So even people have built these robo advisors to kind of monitor the social media and kind of predict stock market prices also, especially in the case of Tesla. You may have known that Elon Musk used to tweet some nasty things and put his posters of pictures of smoking weed in social media, and the stock prices went down and all this story. So this is kind of a problematic thing. Then how are we going to solve it? Traditionally, you may have to have a dedicated team who needs to kind of sit in front of Twitter or Facebook and look for all these tweets and stuff and reply to that. That's a huge job. Then the purpose of teams is all about avoid you to kind of context switching and kind of focus on the specific theme. That's why it is coming under the Microsoft's productivity suite, or the spectrum of the productivity software. So this makes in Teams, but the whole purpose of Teams is to kind of make you sit in or kind of focus in one thing and do one thing at a time. So that's why we are kind of trying to build something for Teams that's called Connect. A connector is a kind of an ID for Teams. Teams has the good thing with Teams is, first of all, it is it's extensible, so you can create applications, bots, and connectors for Teams. What I'm going to create or showcase is a connector for Teams, which will send whenever there is a negative tweets comes on a specific hashtag, and it will send a card to the Teams. A card is like Teams has a concept called adaptive cards. It's like it's not just a text message. It's kind of a box, and it has its own UI, it has its own schema, and it is programmable. So that's what we are going to show today. So this is the high-level architecture of my of the solution I'm going to showcase. So first we get all the tweets from the Twitter stream, and getting a single tweet and run Azure Cognitive. So Azure Cognitive Services is another offering from Microsoft again. Using Azure Cognitive Services, you can do a lot of things. It again provides another spectrum of stuff like Face API, video indexing, media. So a lot of stuff is there. So we are going to use Azure Text Analysis, a specific service in Azure Cognitive Services. Using that, we are going to detect the sentiment of a given text. And that is the logic behind that. So basically, I will explain how that it goes. So if it is a negative sentiment, then we are going to call a custom web API that we have developed for this demo. And that custom web API will, that will send the information to the Teams connector, which will finally end up in new Teams as an adaptive card. So this is how the architecture works. So let's talk about the Teams connectors first. It's actually a convenient way to push third-party services to Microsoft Teams channels. So like for the developers, especially who are working, if you are kind of already using GitHub or Azure DevOps, whenever somebody committed the code or somebody pushed the code to the central repository, you can configure that GitHub or Azure DevOps to send using their connectors, send an action card, so everybody in the Teams channel is aware of this push has happened. Maybe they can update the code or whatever, or they update their local copies, or sometimes you can configure Jira, as Kumar mentioned previously. Jira is a famous project management tool. So if somebody makes some changes, if somebody is assigned to a task, or if somebody is completing a task, you can, rather than going to Jira.com or whatever, or your local Jira channel and look for that task, you can configure a connector for Jira. It's already there out of the box. You can just configure that Jira with your Teams channel. Then whoever, like, whatever the thing is happening in Jira side will come to Teams automatically. So you can still, you don't need to kind of context switch between the web app and the Teams and your coding stuff and all this stuff. No need to worry. Just focus on your code plus Teams. That's the idea. And adaptive cards is the main concept of the team connector. So the good thing is adaptive card is, it has a cross-product specification and it's coming from Microsoft. And this works with channels like Teams, Skype, Facebook also, including Facebook and all this stuff. So how the Facebook comes is a different story. I'm not going to touch that here. So it provides, and Microsoft provides a specification to create the adaptive card using a JSON schema. Using that, you can do that thing, and it's portable. That means it's available in all screens to you, from your Teams web application to Teams client to your Teams mobile application, to all these things. And it has a single schema that's again provided by Microsoft, and it has input control. So inside that adaptive card, you can put controls like buttons, data, and calendar kind of controls. You can put that in. And it has native performance, so you don't need to worry about whether if this is HTML file, it's kind of, am I going to render an HTML file thingy inside my native application or whatever. Rather, that gives you a native performance. And Teams connectors, mainly, most of the time, they use webhooks. It's called webhooks, the traditional same webhook concept. So connectors can be created using an incoming webhook or an outgoing webhook. So incoming webhook means whenever some change happen in a third-party software, you take that change to your Teams channel. That is incoming webhook. Outgoing webhook means whenever something happens inside your Teams channel, you take that back to your third-party software. So for the classical case of Jira, whenever somebody make a change in a task in Jira, the change will be alerted or notified to the Teams channel. And if again somebody the person doesn't need to go to Jira to kind of complete the task or whatever, press the complete button or whatever, they can still press the complete button in Teams, and that will be actually completed or set to completed mode in Jira. So the change will be reflected automatically in Jira. That's outgoing webhook. So all these things are possible where Microsoft Teams JavaScript client SDK. So Microsoft provides us a small JavaScript file like all other JavaScript libraries. These two codes are the important codes to kind of get the webhook URL and content URL. So I'm not going to go more deep into this thing, but what you have to know is, like, there's this JavaScript client SDK for Teams, and it has a property called settings, and it gives some callback stuff for get settings and settings. Using that, you can customize or configure your custom application to Microsoft Teams. And lastly, finally, it's about the Azure sentiment analysis. Yeah, as I said earlier, we are going to use text analysis. It's an open information about medium services, and it basically text analysis. will estimate your sentence for a score of score that's fluctuating between 0.0 to 1.0. So if it finds the score is 0.10, like which is less than 0.5, that basically means that's a negative sentiment. Or if it is kind of above 0.5, it's a positive sentence. And if that is exactly 0.5, that's a neutral sentiment. That means it's just some sentence. It doesn't have a feeling for that. Yeah, so let's jump to the demo straight away. So do you any questions up to this stuff? All right. Let me first take you to the adaptive cards stuff. Maybe I can show a simple card. So like you can see this, right? Something like this is the adaptive card, and you can see a button here. This is what I said as the input controls. We can have it. Microsoft provides you a site called adaptivecards.io, so you don't need to worry about what are these JSON schemas and stuff. This is the JSON schema basically. You can drag and drop all this stuff and create your own adaptive card using this tool. So if you want to preview it, yeah. So you can like I already have adaptive, like this is like a template adaptive card provided by Microsoft, and this also has some input controls. So if I click this set due date, it shows me kind of it goes beyond, and from here I can select the date and stuff and press OK, and I can just copy this code in my custom application to send this type of adaptive card. This is what we call as adaptive cards. And then let me show you the Teams connector we have already developed. This is the connector. So the sample scenario for this presentation is we have we are running our company is called CoffVV. This is a famous phrase. I hope you know this. Trump made this famous. And whenever there's a negative tweets with this hashtag CoffVV, that will automatically come to the Teams via this adaptive card. So we are having a Azure Logic Apps running behind, which is the orchestrate of the entire solution. So it's basically whenever a new tweet is posted, we just detect the sentiment, and if this is the condition part, and if that is less than 0.5, we are calling the HTTP endpoint. This is the custom application that was developed. So now you can see all the all the tweets or all the tasks for the CRM people. And when you click on these details, you can see the specific task. So rather than coming to this website, you can do the same thing in Teams. Say you will automatically get whenever there's a negative tweet, like I got the last negative tweet at 12:40 p.m. So whenever there's a negative tweet about it, you have to just click this view tweet details, and it will open the same web application with that specific information. So that is it about the overview of the solution. Then how are we going to do this is using this code. So as I said earlier, this is the solution for the web application I have showed already. This is this is running in my local host already. And I have used this tool called ngrock because Teams connector doesn't work in your local host or whatever, so it needs a public endpoint to access because Teams is entirely a cloud-based solution. So one thing is you can create your custom application and host it in Asia or wherever, or like or the other way is about for the mainly for the testing purposes. You can use this tool called ngrok to kind of get a public DNS or the domain name for your local host service. So I'm running this service and this is my public endpoint. So it's already here. The same service is running. And this is the solution. And I previously I mentioned about the Teams JavaScript library, and this is the library. So here I have used this using this this location. You can access that JavaScript library for the client SDK for the Teams, and all the set settings and get setting callbacks are here. So all these things works via the webhooks, as I said previously. So we or like as a developer, you don't have the control to define your webhook. It will be provided by Microsoft. So how to get that thing? For that, you need to first register the connector. So say in case if you are developing your own connector, you need to first register that with Microsoft. You don't need to kind of publish it for the public. Rather, you can just keep it for your purpose only and keep your application like, keep working on your application. And finally, everything is concluded, you can publish that. So there's a portal called Connector Developer Portal. You have to have Office 365 on for that. And this is the connector I already have configured that is running live in this Teams channel. So let me create a new connector and name it as so now let's put this website. So here the company website, you can put any site like your actual company website you can put. But the important configuration is the configuration page for your connector. This is where I have to have a configuration page in my custom application. So that is where I call all my Teams SDK stuff. So this is this setup.cshtml. So if I go to okay, now it's coming here. Yeah, so this is kind of, this is the configuration page. This doesn't make any sense for your public or the internet exposed application because this page is configured to use Teams SDK. So if you access this page via Teams, then this page makes some sense. Otherwise, this doesn't make any sense here. I will show how we are going to access this to Teams. So this URL is important. So this is what we call it as the configuration page for your connect. I will just paste it here. And valid domains, since I am running it in ngrok, I will just say maybe add just ngrok. Yeah, and I accept the terms and conditions without reading the conditions and save. So now you can see something new came up here, and there's this thing called download manifest. So if I click on this download manifest, it will give me a JSON file. Yeah. So if I just open this, you can see this something called schema. Maybe if I hope you, this is kind of readable now. So this is the schema provided by Microsoft for the team schema, and this is the Windows version. And this ID is important for us. So using this ID only, we are going to get the webhook URL for our connector. That again, we can't do this like from this one. That will be handled automatically by the Teams client SDK. And you know, all these things are here. So let me just go to it. So let me just yeah, so copy this thing. I need to remove this entry, and I need to paste this. And that. Now I have just copied the entire manifest to the folder. So if you see this folder, I have a manifest JSON file and two icons. So in this manifest JSON, yeah. So if you see the outline icon and color icon, so these two are the icons I have given. So these two icons will be shown in here. This the icon, the coffee cup icon, you can see. But I mean, I'm using kind of a very minimalistic manifest JSON. But I think if you know open the developer documentation, you can find a lot of information about all these icons and all this stuff. And after adding all the valid manifest entries, it's just about zipping the file and go to your teams, and maybe let's create a new team for this purpose. Right, the team is live now. Let me just skip this step, and you can see this apps icon. So this is where you can find all the applications or the extensions for Teams. So you can find Jira and all this stuff. If you want to go, you can GitHub and Isham Mohammad. All these things are there. So all you need to do is just click on this one and just set this up for your team. That's it. So you don't need to do all this stuff. So what I'm demoing now is kind of doing something like this is from scratch, maybe for your own software or your in-house software that you're already using. So it's click on the custom, upload a custom app, and just upload this. Oh, there's something wrong here. Okay. We'll do the same process. Okay, now it has come with the green icon and all this stuff. So I can now add this to my teams, whatever the team I can do it from here and install. So now the app is available for the team. Now I need to do that, configure that with channel. So I'm going to use general channel and setup. Okay, so now you can see uh, the same page as in this page. So now this does make some sense because since now this page is running inside Teams, it can pick up the Teams client SDK and find out the webhook URL and all this stuff. Just I say this one and save. Now it's firing the my locally running application. Now the breakpointer has been hit, and if you see this webhook.url, you can see this URL. There is a valid URL. So that's what I said earlier. So this URL is not under our control. This is totally controlled by Microsoft. It's something given by them to us. So we are going to use this URL, or not actually we, it's the Teams connector is going to use this URL to kind of communicate with all this stuff. So yeah, I think we are okay to go this, and you can see, so one is configured and you can see like, this, I have already configured this stuff. And now you can see a welcome message. Okay, so this guy has set up the connection and all these things. Now let me just send a tweet, kind of a negative tweet again. Maybe somebody who are using Twitter also can just use hashtag, this hashtag to send some negative stuff and see whether if that is coming to this channel. Yes. You are free to try. Maybe you can say, yeah, your session is boring or whatever. It's a negative tweet and it will come here. Yeah, and like, so one thing to note here is it's not like it's not like a kind of this very real time, but it's near real time because we are running the entire solution using logic apps. So it has to go through a lot of servers and a lot of stuff to come to here. Let's see. All right, I know the reason why this didn't come. Because the my logic apps has been configured to go to my public URL. I didn't configure this for my ngrok thingy. So yeah, let me copy this and paste it. Okay, so yeah, something's happening here. Let's see. All right. So there's a very negative one with 0.00075 score. Cool. It's running for a long time. I don't know, something is happening in the logic app side. That's not under my control. Alright, so it didn't come here either. So there are three jobs there keep running. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my maybe the network bandwidth or whatever. They were not able to uh, come to the or reach out the ngrok endpoint, because that's why I said ngrok, using ngrok in production is not recommended. You just host your solution to Azure Web Services or whatever and use it. ngrok could be only a solution when you are trying to develop that these kind of to avoid these kind of scenarios. But anyways, it works in the live site, right? So here. So you will get the same experience of the card even if you go to the Teams application in your browser, Teams web application in the browser. So we'll get the same experience with the same buttons and stuff. They will be there. So if you are kind of not too much into this coding and stuff, or if you are an administrator, then there is another way to do almost similar thing, but not with all these buttons and stuff, or without the adaptive card. That's using incoming webhooks option in Teams. If you go to manage Teams option and if you click on apps, you can see all the applications that were configured for your this specific team. Then click on more apps. If you search for coming webhook, this is already there out of the box. You can just use this thing. You have to just click this, and yeah. Okay, let me add that to the local copy team again. Yeah, install it. And I'm going to add that to the same general channel setup. So you will see kind of a page to configure this figure, and you have to provide a name for this thing, and then let me keep the same image, or you can provide your own image also, and just create. So once you press the create button, you will be shown with a webhook URL, which is much similar to the previous URL. So all you need is now you know which is the webhook URL for this one. So you can use this URL in any of your connection channels or whatever. So just for the for the testing purposes, let me open Postman. Postman is a application to kind of test all this HTTP stuff. So, yeah. So let me go to a new request, and it should be a post request for the developers. And so whenever you call this webhook URL, you need to, you need to provide a body. Traditionally, if you are calling this webhook from your custom connection or your custom program or your code, you can simply paste the adaptive card JSON definition as the body, so it will just understand it. Otherwise, if you're calling the incoming webhook, out of the box incoming webhook stuff, this is kind of a body where you can use to send just text messages. And unfortunately, until today, the out-of-the-box incoming webhook doesn't support adaptive cards. So if you want to have the adaptive card functionalities with all these custom buttons and stuff, you need to anyway kind of write your own program. So if not, if you just want to just send some text messages, you can use this uh, out of the box incoming webhook. So yeah, so this is my one, and I have to just paste this thing with the content of application JSON. So I don't need to add any authorization or whatever, because this is a publicly available webhook URL. So whoever has access to my webhook URL can send message to my team's channel. That's why this is a bit complicated. All this, you can see all the GUIDs and stuff. So unless, nobody can kind of social engineer this one unless they get the actual URL by text or email or whatever. So I just press send, and now I get a 200 OK message. And if I go to my team, done. I need to complete that step. Okay, now you can see the incoming webhook is configured for me. It's fine. And you can see, now you can see I got a message from local webhook, hello world. So if I something, okay, I got the next message. So you can use the same URL with your, maybe if you are using serverless stuff, maybe your Azure functions, or you are using your Azure Logic apps, or whatever the product you are using to kind of send some information to the teams. This is about incoming webhooks. So during the, time is not enough to explaining about the outgoing webhooks. Maybe you can kind of find all this information in Microsoft. Everything is documented properly. So if you just read, you can find it. Right. So that's all from me. Yeah. And just to tell about us. So I'm actually coming from this company called Cloudynet Technologies. We are a Malaysian company and headquartered in Kuala Lumpur, and we have the presence in India, Singapore, and Malaysia. And we are the silver partners of Microsoft with MSc status from MNEC. We do a spectrum of services from cloud and migrations to SSO, identity management, Office 365, on-premise solution, and all this stuff. And we are also partnered with Azure Managed Services partners to T-Systems to move their workload to Azure and stuff. Plus, we are direct partners to these companies, Maybank, Celcom, UEM Plus, MHV, Petronas, and all these guys. Thank you. So, any questions?
Hi, sorry. You did mention earlier that the integration with Teams, you mentioned religiously GitHub. Is
Yeah.
there any opportunity to open up for other third-party repositories, for instance, GitLab? Is that natively supported, or we have to build custom connectors?
Okay, so what do you mean by the third party, like GitLab or something like that?
Yeah.
I am not sure about GitLab, but if it is not there, like, okay, first thing, if you're hosting your GitLab can be self-hosted. So if you're hosting your own GitLab server, you have to anyway go through the custom connector.
Okay. Then a follow-up question on that. Is there a marketplace where I can actually pre-build these custom connectors where we can reuse them?
Yes, so that's what I show you already. That's where the developer portal, right? Connected developer portal. So there you have to just all these give all the URLs and proper. But I mean, you need to use the proper stuff. There's a guideline for that from Microsoft documentation where you need to provide all the icons in all proper sizes and URL should be public. I think I'm not sure if you can use asiawebsite.net domain. But they welcome you if you are using .com domain, but then your application have to have privacy policy URL, terms and conditions URL, all this stuff has to be there. Then you have to just submit the, I mean, I have just created the application in my demo, but then there's this step to submit that application to Microsoft. Then they will review that application and make it public. Then your application will be, available in that application's page in Teams. So anybody can use that there from there.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Next question. Any other questions? All right. Thanks for listening and thanks for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Isham. Next, please welcome William Tan from ICMS. He'll actually demo a day in the life of a Microsoft Teams admin. Welcome, William.
Can you hear me?